Welcome everyone to Studio Insights with Belvista Studios. You got Hannah, you got Victoria, you got myself, Kim, and this is our opportunity to chat as a team and learn from each other. And it's basically like a development chat for continuous improvement as a team, and you get to join us. And thanks for all the love that you've been sharing with us, and we're glad that they're adding value and that you're learning things to take back to your own practice, and also for the teams that you work in as well. So that's really cool to hear. All right, Vic, you got a question? Who's it for? What is it?
It's for both of you, but it's kind of been triggered by some things Hannah has asked me recently, so I might go to her first. So I just want to know, like, I've been developing a few new projects recently, but obviously while I've been working here, I've done like a lot of the development side of things, a lot more of the development side of things, I would say. Oh, this is a long question already. And a lot of the time, like, it will go to you for QA, Hannah. And I find that you're always asking me lots of questions about like things I've done, or if I've like checked about things before I developed. Yeah. And a lot of the time I haven't. Like, you come up with things that I haven't thought of, like for instance, the other day with asking if I, like, what had happened with proofreading, if I had like checked the content like for flow before developing, because it was one where we'd had been given like the approved content, and I had just basically like copied and pasted directly from the approved content to develop. But then like in the QA process, you obviously went through and had to make some changes to get it to work a bit better. So I just kind of wanted to find out from you guys, like, what, like, get some ideas of things I should be asking and like should be considering before I develop, that you find comes up like at QA or when you're finalizing and you think like this maybe should have been done earlier, or like at all if it wasn't.
So I think, because I was talking to Kim about this, I think we do need to come up with like a list of questions that our team, like, we ask at the very beginning of projects. I do the same thing. Like, sometimes I won't ask a question and then like the task won't be done, like it'll be missing something, and Kim will be like, you should have done that. So I guess I just learn over time from my mistakes of like, I should have proved that and I didn't. So when I'm QAing, like, those things pop up into my head of like the mistakes I've made in the past. But yeah, I think we definitely need to figure out what those questions are. Like, as a team, it would be great to talk about like, what are all of the things that we should consider? Because yeah, like off the top of my head, the things I consider are like proofing. Are we like checking the flow of the content? Are we looking at it from like a learner perspective to make sure that it like is user friendly and like makes sense to someone who doesn't know the content? What level is the storyboard or the module? So is it level 1, 2, or 3? For example, like if we get voiceover from the client and it's their voiceover, are we checking that their voiceover is correct, or is it approved? So it's just like, I don't have like an exact list of questions, but I basically like question everything to do with what I'm QAing, and I don't make any assumptions anymore, because I used to make assumptions and sometimes I would get it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, what do you think, Kim?
I think those questions that you've shared are like really good. They're so specific, and I think they're like really granular. But when you are trying to deliver a good quality product, you need to be that granular and specific. So I think they're a great starting space. We also have the project brief questions, which is kind of trying to understand the project as a whole, but it doesn't go down to this level of detail. And I think why we get to this level of detail is to look for efficiencies and improvements and stop repeating mistakes. The only other thing that I'd probably add is that the style guide, like making sure that's a working document, and each time there's a change that we're continuously updating that, you know. So this particular word is capitalized for this client. It's the only client that ever capitalizes it, but it's not for others. So like a simple one that comes to mind is manager. Some people, they always capitalize manager, and some organizations, and some organizations don't. So making sure it's a working document, so we're not having to hold that information in our head, and that we can just go, okay, we're working on this project and their expectations are these things. So the style guide's not only the colors and stuff, but it's like the LMS settings, do their what do you call it, quizzes and slides refresh every time you revisit. So very specific, so that the client is going, oh, we don't wear orange hard hats, we wear white ones, and you don't make that mistake a second time. Because it's like, you want to know that you're listening and taking things on board when you're given feedback. So generally that comes through client feedback, where you're able to go, oh, they've told us this thing, now let's add that to the style guide so we remember it for future projects.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'd say in terms of practical things. But I'd also say, like, don't take it to heart that you don't know to ask certain questions, and that people are asking questions of you, because there are lots of unknowns in the work that we do. Like, there's so many deliverables, right? Like the RQA list is like 30 plus items, and there's the instructional design, there's graphic design, there's development. Within that, there's like buttons and links and images and text alignment, and like this. So it's complex. It doesn't seem like it is, but it's a complex project. So there's lots of unknowns, and I don't think we can ever get to a place of this is exactly all the questions that need to be ticked off, because projects change, needs of clients change, the needs of the solutions change, technology changes. So for that, I would just remember that the role of QA is to question everything, is to be that perspective that is like, have they considered this? It looks like they have, but let me clarify, because that's a big thing we've been working on, is don't assume, go and seek to understand and clarify. So remembering that it is the role of the QA person to question everything, because we want to minimize risks and consequences of those risks.
I definitely like agree with what you said, Kim. Like, a lot of the times when I ask you questions, Vic, it is so, like, I might be like, oh, why did you do it that way? But it doesn't necessarily mean you've done it wrong. I just need to, as a QA person, understand, potentially note it down. So if the client ever comes back, we can say, this is why we've done it. So a lot of the questions I ask is just for me to like make a record of everything, like ticking. You do an incredible job at developing, and I think it is my role to ask those questions. But yeah, I do think as a team we could come up with some sort of question bank or something that happens at the beginning and like having a style guide and all of that. But I think we're getting close to that. It's just like we're learning new things as we go, and like different things that pop up for different projects. And
no, well, it's not like, I don't see it as a bad thing when you ask questions. It's more just like, it has made me think like there are improvements that I could make, like with things like proofreading and that, because it's like, I don't want to go and develop a project that then you look at and you're like, it makes no sense, or like then having to like rework, when really if I just looked at the like Word document or whatever it is, it's so much easier to fix it in there and then actually develop more finalized content. Like, it might still change, but like that would make my life easier anyway, and it makes your life easier. So like that kind of thing, I'd rather start looking at doing it myself instead of waiting till the QA stage. I know not everything will be captured, but stuff like proofreading and the flow of the content and that kind of thing, like I think that should come before
me too
development.
Which is only a new thing as well. Like, that's what I mean about the unknowns. Like, we had a particular task maybe the first time we've ever done it, so we don't know. We try to plan for the best approach, but then we learn through the experience. And then we go, okay, well, next time we need to ask this question earlier on. So I think that's what we're just experiencing right now.
Agreed. Thank you.
Question.
Interesting. I've got a question, Hannah. I know you did, like, you've created these, and then Vic's done the QA, so like you'll probably both have perspectives, but I was just wondering, Tips for writing an effective facilitator guide.
I think so. When I was writing it, I definitely like stepped into the shoes of someone who would be facilitating it and thought like, what would I need as a facilitator to like be able to do what I need to do? So it's like, what level of detail would it be? Because you don't have to tell them like every single thing they have to say. Like they can add their own personality to it, but just like putting like what are the core messages that they would need to share. Do you have anything, Vic? While I'm thinking. What was in?
No, I feel like for like looking at what you'd done, because initially I was going to make the guide, I ran out of time, Hannah did it. And when I got it, I was like, this is like 1,000 times better than what I thought I would be making. Because I think a lot, like when I looked at it, I'm like, anyone could literally pick this up and run that session. Yeah. Whereas what I had in mind initially, I'm like, they probably would have still had lots of questions. So I think it is looking at it like, if you just gave that guide to someone, could they go and run it basically? And if they can't, like what's missing that they would need to know? So like it had the key messages for them. It had like, send this link, click this at this time. This is how long you can expect this part to go for. Like it had so much detail in it. But it wasn't like enough to overwhelm them. Like it was kind of mapped out. So it's like, this is this, like what's in this section. This is what you need to do. Then this is the next section. Like it just still broke it down, but yeah, it had enough detail that you can follow along and know exactly what you need to be doing at which point, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, I was a bit worried it was too much information because I get very detailed sometimes. I was going to say like maybe it should have had less because I'm like, I want to know everything, but like, it's getting like that happy medium.
But I think that is the point of that guide. Like people, like you want people to be able to follow along and know what they need to do and not be questioning like why things are a certain way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like I don't think you had unnecessary detail. It's like, this is presentation. This is what you need to do while the presentation is like playing or going or whatever.
Yeah.
And even like I remember with the questions and be like, ask this question, you're going to expect like an answer from your group or like get them to reflect individually, like things like that. If that detail wasn't there, like as a facilitator, I'd be like, are they meant to say this out loud or like themselves? So considering things like that too. And yeah, just being really detailed, like this is the screen, like having like an actual like visual image of like, this is the screen that we're talking about and this is what you need to do. I think I'm trying to remember what it had, but it was like, this is what you say and this is what you do.
Yeah.
Make it like really clear for each one.
Yeah, I think it was do say the resource and then the time.
Yeah.
Against basically the screen that the learner would be looking at.
Yeah.
And I think it is always better to have more detail. Like maybe not every facilitator that the company has needs to use that or follow it as closely. Like you said, like they can adapt kind of based on their own personality or whatever. But like it's better to have it there, I think.
Just in case someone is presenting who doesn't know anything about facilitation or like they need that support. I think it's good to have them too.
But it's funny that you guys are saying like the detail, like there was a lot of detail. I was like, wow, this is so refreshing. It's so like, really? Exactly what I need. Yeah, because I did like the final kind of user testing of it. And I was like, yeah, I'll just say that sentence and then I'm going to move on and spend about 2 minutes on this activity. And then like, it was just very clear and concise. It didn't have paragraphs. It was just like very action focused.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like pages and pages of text that you had to try and figure out.
No way.
And because I know I've had facilitator guides like that I've had to use where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start sort of thing.
Well, yeah, I think I'm just comparing the detail to the one I was going to make, which had not much detail.
You never got to make it, so like,
yeah, thank God. I would have had to remake it.
You imagined.
Cool, thank you. I think that's some really good tips to consider. Over to your question, Hannah.
My question is for you, Kim. And I was wanting to know, because I know you've dealt with situations where like stakeholders that we interact with might have like put off like a different energy that would be hard for some people to manage. So it could be like they're angry or they're stressed, or like their energy could potentially put you into a situation that makes you stressed and like act in a way that isn't aligned with who you are. And I was just wondering, like, how do you, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like, how do you respond in a way that aligns with your values and not let other people's energy impact you? Because I think for me, like, I would be impacted a lot and I would respond in a different way that is not how I usually would respond, or I'd want to respond. So it'd just be good to know how you do it.
I don't know. With the energy questions, last Studio Insights and this one, am I like, what are those like energy healer people? I'm actually just I am energy, but okay, anyway. So basically, what I think you're saying is that if someone is emotionally reacting, how you don't emotionally react back based on them as the stimulus.
Yeah, like how you avoid mirroring their reaction.
Okay, let's go from a perspective of like, you're not expecting it either. Because I think it's easier if you know that it's like, this person, when I catch up with them, that like we always have like a little bit of friction, or we butt heads, we disagree. That's that kind of friend or whatever. So, and then I might, when I'm driving to that catch up, I might be like, okay, like, remember, you think they're really funny, and don't get caught up in like, if you're butting heads, it's actually because you're just like really passionate about what you care about. So would you prefer, is that more useful, like dealing with it in the moment?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, Hannah. I think I am very aware of like, I think everyone probably gets this, is like, that comes at you and like you're immediately like, oh, I want to defend myself, or I want to protect myself from whatever is happening right now. This is like not what I'm expecting. And your body just goes, ah! So if you can like know that that's happening, take a breath, like just take a breath. You can create space for yourself to not react to that energy, and know that the energy is coming from the other person because something's going on for them. It's not you. So what is going on for them? And then you can just quickly, everyone wants to be helpful. So feel the change in energy on you, breathe, and then go, how can I be the most helpful in this situation? And I think from that place, you can maybe ask a question and can change that kind of steam engine ahead of a train. Is it, I don't know what they're called, but like, so it's not just like, I'm just like, can I just do this in sound effects rather than articulate actual things? Like, this is hard. So if we're trying to remember, just be helpful. This is not about you personally. What is happening for them? What is going on for them to be this way? And say, maybe a question is, help me understand what's going on for you right now, or help me understand why you feel that way, so that you can seek to understand. And then they might go, oh, like, I've just come from this really like hectic, like, I don't know if it is it good or bad energy, but like maybe they've just come from this like crazy ass experience, and they're like, that was the best thing ever. And then they're like coming at you, and you have like, you're like in a chill mode, or something not good has happened for you, and you're like, whoa, this energy is too much for me right now. So then you're just like, oh, okay, what's going on? We're on a different level right now. Why might they be coming at it this way, and why am I coming at it this way? Where do we need to be? I love this person. I want to get to a good outcome with this person. Okay, how do we do that? And then you got to kind of you get better over time, I think, of dealing in the moment with these situations, but take the time to go, okay, where do we need to be? Okay, what can I ask, or what action can I take next to get us there?
Yeah.
The simplest form. But I don't know exactly what that looks like, because I think you'd need to give me, I don't know why, and I think I purposefully don't get too specific with this, is because I want to be able to adapt in the moment no matter what comes up. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, like I definitely get impacted and stuff, but I can never know how someone else is going to show up. So therefore it's better to just have no expectations and be able to adapt in the moment to whatever does show up. But if you know that the place that you're headed towards is together, and get there in the best possible way, or then it's easier to just be able to adapt in the moment.
Yeah.
You've stumped me with this question.
That was really good advice. Thank you.
You can summarize it, Hannah, because what'd you get from that?
Breathe. So you have like time to like take a deep breath and like choose how you want to respond. Ask a question to change the energy. Figure out where you need to be and help yourself get there. So an example could be, help me understand why you feel that way, or help me understand what's going on for you. And through that, you can adapt no matter what comes up. I just see it as like you might need time to like process, to figure out what question you're going to ask. And as long as they're like, can chill out for a little bit while you're processing it. That's the only thing I could see not working, if they're just like moving very quickly and you don't have time to like think through what you want to respond with.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I guess maybe that's where you do want like a little prompt for yourself that works in every situation. Oh, here we go. This question, people are going to be like, Kim always says this. Because it is hard when you're under pressure and you're like stressed to think in the moment for the specific, like, how do I deal with this one? So if the question is always, what does love look like in this moment? Then you know you can get into a different state easier to respond. And that is a lot easier than trying to think, okay, what is the specific question for this specific question or a situation to deal with? And over time, if you can get your brain trained into what does love look like in this moment, give that person a hug or seek to understand, like, you know.
That's always appropriate.
Or thank them, or I don't know, whatever it is, but love shines through. And so I think if you can train yourself to always just go, if I'm ever stressed, ask myself this one question, then you'll be able to adapt. And that, by asking yourself, what does love look like in this, like, it takes a little while to say, you create the space to calm down and to respond. Can you see it playing out that way? Like,
I can, but I feel like when some people are like emotionally heightened, like giving them a hug or something might not.
Yeah, well,
that's just
I think
Interesting, because I've never tried it. Like, someone's yelling at me and I just hug them.
Well, that's where the love question will allow you to reveal the thing that is needed in that moment. You'll make the right decision. It might not be a hug, but you'll get to a better, or what the most suitable thing is in that moment.
Yeah.
And it could be as simple as, what does love look like in this moment? Okay, this is not going well. Let's take a pause and let's recoup in an hour, or I'll call you back, or
yeah, cool. I'll test.
Someone's on the other line, like. Who are you going to test it with? Yibs?
Vic, because she's always angry at me.
I am not. Well, don't hug me or I'll yell at you even more. I'll punch on.
We do have an agreement not to hug Vic.
Yes.
She's not a lover. What do you guys think? What tips do you have for that?
Well, I think your tips are good. I just don't have confidence in myself to apply them quite like that.
It takes time. You got to train. Like, it's taken me time, definitely. It's not like I'm like this Zen master being like, yeah, and like fucking someone's screaming at me, or like someone's like whatever it is, like their energy's too high, and I'm like dum da dum. But like over time you go, oh, that didn't go well, or that didn't go as I wanted it to, and you go, what would I do next time? So create the space to reflect, and you go, if that ever happens to me again, if someone goes up the back of me and I jump out of the car and then I'm like, just go, next time, well, I'll jump out of the car and I'll be like, are you okay? Like, have you been hurt? Rather than go, why the fuck did you just ram up the back of my car? Now I'm going to go do insurance and all that jazz.
Well, yeah, I just feel like if someone's screaming at me, I'm not thinking about love at all. Right opposite.
But then think of them as hurting. So they're coming from a place of pain.
They're yelling at me. I'm in pain.
They're not. Only you can hurt yourself. Only you can choose to be hurt by them. They're not hurting you. They're hurting themselves.
Well, yes, it's going to be a long journey for me, I think.
Yeah, I'm angry because I'm like, I get hurt and I don't react in that way. So I'm like, why do you, like, if I cannot react in that way, why are you reacting in that way?
Mm.
So I get angry.
Mm.
But it's a journey.
But you have to think, why am I getting hurt right now by this? Or why am I getting angry? Like, why am I choosing to respond with anger?
Well, it's usually because I've crossed a boundary, and I probably need to be better at setting boundaries. That's probably where my anger comes from.
I feel like everyone's going to be like, these three girls, they have issues. Who are all these angry people? Or like,
I think it's like normal though. Like, I think the place you've reached is like above the basic human reactions. And I'm in like the lowest part of it.
I reckon.
I just hire you guys because then you make me feel good about myself. No, I'm only messing.
So you feel good about yourself.
No, I think that like that is one thing to remember, which I'm working on, is that no one else can make you feel something. Only you choose to feel that way.
That's very true.
So if you can go, oh, I'm hurt right now. The thing is, I'm making myself hurt right now, not them. Or I feel frustrated right now. I am making myself feel frustrated. I'm choosing to be frustrated. They haven't gone, flick a little switch. Now Kim's in frustrated mode. Like, they don't have control over us. We only have control over us.
Yeah. Unless it's physical.
Yeah, then you got to get like fast dodging skills.
I feel like with the feelings thing, I don't always feel like I have control over it. Like, do you just pretend you don't feel like that until you naturally don't feel like that? Or
yeah, you should basically, what my journey has been. Anytime you've annoyed me, Vic, I used to spend 2 weeks dwelling on it. And then one day it was 7 days, and then it became 3 days, and then it became 1 day, and then it became 2 hours, and then it became 20 seconds. And now it's just like, oh, Vic's having a moment. Let her have her moment, and I go about my day. Not that you ever do this, but over time, through awareness, that reaction shortens. I can see with your little lip that you're like, not more. Come on, what else?
I just don't. Like, how does it shorten though? Like, what
you practice?
Do you do to shorten it though? Because I think like if something happens to me and straight away I'm like, that like really hurt my feelings, or like I'm annoyed that that's happened, like that's like an instant thing for me. So where do you like stop that instant thing, and how do you change, like when does that happen? Because I can be like, oh no, I'm not annoyed, but I'm like, I know I am actually annoyed because I can still feel it.
Yeah. So I definitely get annoyed, and I have the feelings there 100%. They just get shorter, and the intensity of them lessens over time. So I might get really like hurt. Maybe in the past I'd cry and I'd be like, why did this happen to me? Like, oh, la, 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 la. But what I always do is create the space to reflect and then go, how can I make sure this doesn't happen again? Or how can I minimize this from happening again? And when you put those actions into place, next time I'm better prepared. If that person hurts me again, then I know, maybe I've read somewhere that I can only hurt. For example, I'm hurt by someone, they made me cry, right? Really impacted me and lasted for a week. And I held that energy and I didn't want to talk to them. I felt really bad about myself. And then I speak to them 2 months later, but in that time I've listened to a podcast or read a book or got some sort of action. I was like, that had helped me in that situation I faced a while ago, that no one can hurt me. The thing that I hear is no one can hurt me, only I can hurt myself by choosing to respond that way. So then I go, okay, cool. Well, if we're ever in that situation again, that person hurts me, this is what I'm going to do. So you pre-plan, almost pre-prepare to deal with it. And then that's maybe you're on the phone and they hurt you again. And this time they hurt me for 3 days, but I'm constantly saying to myself, and it probably is only an affirmation at this point, and I really am hurt, and it makes it's not actually how I show up, but I'm trying to convince myself. So I just say, only I can hurt myself. They can't hurt me, even though I feel it all and I feel hurt and I have the emotional reaction. And through that reflection process, I build calluses and strength for the next time it happens again. And each time things just get lower and lower. There'll be things that you'll be able to reflect on your own lives where you used to react a certain way and then you don't anymore. Or you used to react to this level and now you don't anymore. It's a different reaction. And that can be a change in values. That can be a change in your boundaries that you set up. It can be a change in, sometimes one of the biggest things for change and not reacting is you're just over it. Fuck that. I'm over this. I'm never letting myself be impacted in that way again. I'm worthy of more than that. It's not worth my energy to get so hung up on this anymore. So that it becomes too painful that change is created through that.
I just think we don't live for long, so.
Yeah, you have like things like that. Yep.
Who cares? That helps me. We're all going to die one day. Like, this is not a significant enough event to be wasting my energy on it in the grand scheme of
life. I'm going to remind you of that next time you're angry or sad. Like, get over it, Anna. You're going to die soon.
Clip this and play it back.
Advice, what do you think? This is for you personally. So I've been Protractor by Gabby Bernstein. So you got it for me, Kim, and it's real good. And she talks about, if you react in a certain way, she has a 3-step process, and this is off memory, so I may have got it wrong. It's stop. So be aware that you're having that reaction and it's not a reaction that you want to have. So even having that awareness of this is not how I want to react to this is an incredible first step to take. And then the second thing is forgive yourself for having the reaction. So be it's a normal human thing to have this reaction. It's all good. It's cool that at least I'm aware that I don't want to have it. So have good vibes about it. And then the third thing is choose the next best feeling. So stop and think in this situation, what is the best feeling or the best way I could respond to this? And whatever that is, try and grab that and take on that feeling. But it takes practice, each time more used to grabbing that feeling. But it's stop, forgive, and choose another feeling or thought.
I like it.
I'll go deal with all my issues.
I love it. It was like Hannah's question, but it's become Vic's counselling question.
Well, yeah, I have to pay you guys. Free therapy for me.
I feel like you're my therapy, Vic. Like I just tell you things and I feel like
I wish I could say the same for you.
I think that is one thing, is not being afraid to express yourself. Like I know personally for me, like I can't hold it in. I need to get it out. It's like energy in me and I need to say it out loud to someone else, because I've tried saying it to myself and it's not as effective. But I need to just like, I need to vent and express this. And as soon as I get it out, I'm like, it's like, whew, it's gone. I'm like, I'm good. You don't need to respond. It's done. The energy's out there. Maybe it's sitting in your body, but like good luck dealing with that. Yeah, so it is human.
Mm.
you are human, Vic.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Anything else?
I think that's enough for today.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We hope you got lots of diverse practical tips from this episode of Studio Insights. Welcome to our world. Go share some of this stuff and make humanity better, because there's some tips in here for life as well. And go check out the links in the description of this video, because there are many things that you will benefit from if you like the kind of content we share on here. Have a meaningful and purposeful rest of your day. Bye.
What's up, awesome human? Thank you on behalf of myself and the Belvista Studios team for continuously choosing to learn with us. We really appreciate it. If the tips and the insights and the context resonate with you and you want to take your skills to the next level, or you want to make your life way easier, you will love our Creator Hub. The Creator Hub is a place for people like you and us. Basically, it's the stuff that we use internally at Belvista Studios and then we just share it publicly with you. The Creator Hub is created by instructional designers for instructional designers, and what you'll love there at the moment is we've got a quiz, could I be a better instructional designer, that has so much tips in the feedback if you're interested in human-centered design or just taking your skills to the next level in terms of the solutions you're creating, the problems you want to solve. But in there as well, aren't we cute? That's us. But we've got the coaching courses, freebies, give us gratitude, and also we've got some templates. And basically they're always around the lens of learning experience design, instructional design, and e-learning. So a human-centered design focus is very much what we're about at Belvista Studios. So putting your learners at the heart of a solution and creating something for their needs. So there's the human-centered design stuff, and then we've also got the business stuff. So this is the stuff they don't teach you about when you want to become a freelancer or a consultant in the instructional design world. So go check it out. The link is in the description. You can check out everything that is available for you. Thank you for choosing to learn with us. Continuously invest in your skills. You will be rewarded as an instructional designer. Share this stuff, share it with other people, because when we are better instructional designers, we create better solutions that create better humans, that create a better world. So we have a very important role, and I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Have an awesome day.